Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Sarah Fenske. Roughly 18% of St. Louis metro area residents are Black. But when Dan Parris and his colleagues surveyed local media production companies, they found that was true of just 2% of their workforce. They asked why, and they were told that the companies wanted diversity. They said they just struggled to find qualified applicants. Parris sought to take on that problem. In December of 2014, he founded Continuity. For nearly 5 years, the nonprofit organization has sought to train St. Louisans of color for jobs in media production. It's helped numerous graduates find jobs in the industry. And on November 2nd, it will host a conference bringing filmmakers to St. Louis to meet its trainees and other local people interested in media production. Joining me in studio to talk about these efforts and this conference, which is open to the public, is Dan Parris. He's the executive director and co-founder of Continuity. Dan, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
Now, Dan, you started by working with students in the St. Louis public schools. When did you make the pivot to adults?
Well, we had a program in 2011 and 2012. We actually were on here. Two of the students from that high school program came and did an interview on St. Louis on the Air. But then the nonprofit we were working for basically dissolved, and so we just hit a pivot, decided to pivot and say, let's start our own nonprofit. And as we met with community members, it went from, there's a lot of programs for young people, but are there things out there for adults who want to break out into this industry? And so the average age of Continuity students are actually 31.
Oh, wow. And are these people who are wanting to change careers, or there's someone who wants to pick up an extra skill that might go with the job they already have?
There are some folks, we've had people who've had master's degrees that just weren't able to find a job or really turn that into a revenue stream. We've had folks who did it back before, the digital revolution, and it was all on tape. And now they're like, how do I get into editing and how do I do that? And so we've had, early 20s all the way up into the 60s, folks coming to our program.
People in their 60s are learning these skills.
I think we have one student currently who's in her 60s who just wanted to take her skills to the next level.
That's awesome. Now, this is the third year of your signature program being the Mainstay program. Tell us what that is.
So we have a 36-week training program for adults who are underrepresented in the industry that want to break in. And so one night a week, they learn from industry professionals. We meet at the Cortex at CIC, and they go through this 36-week program. We have guest speakers. We break it into 3 phases, film basics, intermediate film, and film business. And so the goal is that when folks leave our program, they will be able to get a job, be able to start their own business, or at least find new opportunities in the industry.
And has that happened for graduates?
100% of our graduates have gotten new opportunities. And we use that term opportunities because in our industry, it can vary. Did you get a new client? Did you get a new job? Did you get a new internship? But every single one of our graduates have gotten new opportunities because they've been involved in the program. And 2/3 of them have gotten into the St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase. They're films they made in the program. They usually make about 5 films throughout the project, and 2/3 of the students get their films in the festival.
Wow. So these are people who are learning both the technical aspects that'll help them get a job. Some of them are learning something that they're expanding in really creative ways, too.
And yeah, most people, they have films they want to make. They have documentaries they want to make. Erica is one of those who has some film ideas. And the goal is that this is like a starting point to let you know, yes, you can make these films you want to make. It's going to be a lot of work. And St. Louis isn't the easiest place to do it, but there are a lot of opportunities in St. Louis.
And that's actually a great introduction to Erica Renee Walker. She's a 2018-2019 Continuity Media Training Program graduate. Erica, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So how did you first learn about Continuity?
Well, I originally learned about Continuity from going to their premiere. A friend of mine, she's a former Continuity participant herself, Sharice Lero, and I was just going there, I didn't know it was as big as it was until being in the program. I got there and I said, wow, I got to be a part of this. And Dan said I already had aspirations of have movies myself, so this gave me a bigger incentive to take that to the next level. So I've applied, and the rest is history.
So you're now a graduate of the program. That's 36 weeks of...
Yes, it's a long time.
Yeah,
yes.
That's a lot of work you put into this. I know that you'd previously done an internship at a TV station. How was this different than that?
It's kind of one and the same. It's all media, but it's a different branch of it, if you will. So it's like it's TV. STL TV was where I interned at. And I interned there, and I learned how to edit in videos. So transitioning to Continuity gave me a a head start kind of in a certain aspect as far as editing goes. So even in continuity, I learned so many different things that I didn't even know was involved in the filmmaking process. So it's been very enlightening to see that.
Give us an example. Like, what are some of the things that you just didn't even realize this would be something that you needed to know?
Well, as far as the pre-production, I knew you had to plan, but it's like so many details that people don't think about. Like with the lighting, with the casting people, and the timing, and the set, the location, that matters. Because certain times of day have different lighting, and it's just outside is a big deal to shoot out. So and shoot at outside or whatever, it's a big deal. So it was just a lot of different aspects of it that was like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought I knew, but I had no idea.
And so how have you been able to use the training that you got in this program?
Well, I've a lot of ideas. I mean, a lot, thousands, and it just caused me to channel a little bit more to come with a plan, write a treatment. Just know how about to go about it, to the stepping stones to getting to make my own film. Because starting documentaries, because even with documentaries, you have to interview people, get the right questions, get the right answers, and how to get different emotions and the different feels of it and things like that. So,
and one of your goals is to tell your personal story, right?
It absolutely is, and it's gonna happen. I'm planning on next year.
And tell us a little bit. What will that story be as you turn it into a film?
Well, in 2008, I was shot in my head by stray bullets. It's been a long transition. My journey is still continuing on even now. But it's just been just an overall journey. And so I want to highlight that and to show the stepping stones of that, as well as my therapy, as well as what I've done after. I've done so many things, like I can't even. And I just did a brain injury conference, and I did a PowerPoint presentation about that. And I learned to myself, I was like, wow, I've done a lot of stuff, but I don't look at it like that. I just look at this is what I have to do, and this is what I'm just the stepping stones I've done. And it's just been it's been an overall blessing and a great thing, and I'm just so excited about creating the documentary and putting it together.
Dan Parris, do you find that people come into your program and already have a story they want to tell, and you're helping give them the tools, or does it go in the opposite way?
Yeah, so I just taught our last class. So I come in and I guest teach, and I usually talk about the film business side of things. And so we had everyone they didn't know this, we were going to pitch a film. So everyone had to stand up and pitch a film. And some of the ideas I heard were incredible. And folks that really want to make these films. And we even have a student who's currently in our program who's going to be in the pitch competition at the conference. And so that's going to be really cool to see her taking what she's learned in the program and actually apply it to the conference. And my hope also is that Erica wrote a book, and she's a speaker, so she didn't mention that. And I'm imagining video, just as you become a personality, kind of like Letisha is, you need to be able to write, you need to be able to speak, and you need to be able to make content. And so having all those skills and the skills she learned from continuity, I think Erica will be able to take into that speaker, writer field.
And Dan just keeps giving me the perfect transition. This is the greatest opportunity to introduce our third guest, who's Letisha Wexstten. She is not a continuity graduate, but she is somebody who's going to be speaking at its conference because she is a YouTube star. So Letisha, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, you're going to be speaking at the conference on November 2nd. What's the topic of what you'll be talking about?
We are talking about the YouTube space and how to make money and how to grow your channel and monetize it, basically.
So tell us a little bit about how you've been able to do that. What is your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is called Tisha Unarmed. Because this is radio, I'm going to point out that I don't have arms. I was born with a disability. I was born without arms, and I spent the majority of my life trying to educate people and show them that I am capable of doing just about anything that I put my mind to. And the idea of my channel just basically came about when I wanted to more or less educate more people quickly. So when I go to the grocery store and someone says, well, how do you drive? How do you paint? How do you do this? How do you do that? I can say, go to my YouTube channel. Just watch a video of it. And
I'll show you.
I'll show you how I do it. And by doing it that way, I started basically changing the perspective on what it means to have a disability. And instead of people feeling sorry for me, they're more, I guess, inspired by what I can do. And educating themselves on what is possible.
Now, this is great information on your YouTube channel. Like, you can learn so much about, wow, I can't believe somebody can do this with their feet. I mean, it's quite the thing to watch. But I understand that even beyond providing information and entertainment, this is actually providing revenue. Is this something where it's able to be a full-time job at this point?
It is possible to go full-time with YouTube. There are some aspects of YouTube that you need to consider when you're filmmaking. One of the things that I found out is that the people who do go full-time making YouTube videos are not making the majority of their money off of their YouTube videos.
So how are they using that to become an influencer? Or?
So so I think it's the chart that I read was 16% of their income comes from YouTube ads. And then 65% of it is Patreons and like subscription services. So once you create enough content for people to be interested in your channel, then you can expand and say, well, if you want more information or if you want more content, go to Patreon or my Skillshare and subscribe to those channels. And that's where a lot of people are going towards.
And Patreon, sorry, what is that?
How do I explain Patreon?
Not to put you on the spot here. Is this like almost a GoFundMe, except it's more business-oriented than charity-oriented?
Yes, that is correct. So Patreon is more of a trade. So I am providing you more content for a fee of $1, $2, maybe it's $50 a month. And so it's a subscription that you're getting, and then I send you more content. GoFundMe is more of a one-time thing where someone will donate money to you for one time. And
so it's almost like I'm subscribing to, say, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, but rather than getting access to their website, you're sending me some premium content.
Yes.
Okay. And so is this something that you're actively doing at this point?
I am not currently actively doing it, but it and one of the reasons is that this summer I had hip surgery, so my hip replacement put me out for 12 weeks, and I went to school and I got my bachelor's degree in fine arts. So that kind of...
You've been busy.
I've been kind of busy, but now that I'm out of school and I'm healed from my surgery and I've got my new business coming up that I'm working on, I'm motivated more than ever to start revamping my brand and my YouTube channel and actually making more money off of it than I have.
So Dan, Letisha has an amazing story of how she's sort of conquered this medium here that a lot of us, we might turn to watch a video on YouTube. We're never thinking of the possibilities of making money off of it. What led you to choose her for this year's inaugural In Motion filmmaking conference?
Well, to be perfectly honest, we had a bunch of guys on the panel and we needed a female. And, we put the call out there and we said, who in St. Louis is a female making this impact? And someone recommended Letisha. And so then we checked out her stuff, like, this is great. So that's how it happened, yeah.
What are some of the other highlights on this year's conference schedule?
Oh, there's so many highlights. I'd say some of the biggest ones are we have a pitch competition at the end of the day, and on the panel we have representatives from the Sundance Film Festival, the Tribeca Film Festival, Seed and Spark, which is the largest crowdfunding platform. We have the executive producer of Housewives of Atlanta. We have one of the head producers at Channel 9. All those are on the panel, and we're going to have 5 panelists pitch to them, and the winner wins a free year of mentorship at Channel 9 and a free year of office space, $500 in free gear, a free VIP access pass to the St. Louis International Film Festival, free screening at B&B Theaters, free all-year access to the Hurlbut Academy. So it's a bunch of benefits for whoever wins that. The submissions are down for that, but the other cool thing, and potentially the coolest thing, is that the Kranzberg Art Center, or the Arts Foundation, has created a residency, the first ever filmmaker residency in partnership with us. And so anyone who registers for the conference, they can apply for this residency, and they will get access for 1 year to all their space to shoot any of their scenes for their films. They get 1 year of office space, and then they can premiere their films at, say, the Grandel Theater, 400 plus people. And so it's going to be the first residency of this kind. and hopefully it'll be the start of a big thing in the future. So anybody who submits to the conference and registers can apply for that on our website.
So, Erica Walker, as an aspiring filmmaker, what part of this conference are you most excited about?
All of it.
Are you going to be in this pitch competition, or did you decide to wait a year for that?
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be a part of the pitch competition this year, but I don't feel completely ready just yet.
Sure.
But I am looking forward to, I love meeting new people. I am a social butterfly, networking. Of course, I wanted to meet Letisha, and I didn't even know she was going to be here.
Oh, wow.
Until like maybe a couple of days ago. I'm like, oh, yes, it's me before. So that's very exciting. And I also want to meet Marcus Burns, and I also want to meet Mark Valenti. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, he was one of the writers on the Rugrats.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I know he's a Lifetime, is it Lifetime?
Did Lifetime movies. He's done a lot of stuff.
So I want to meet those 3 people, and also more people than that, but I just want to network with people and just see what I can learn. I'm a learner. I love learning new things and see how I can incorporate that in my own life, my own journey, and things like that. So I'm picking up little bitty bits and pieces as I go along the way. So
that's
and
Erica.
I was going to say also, we have a happy hour, which would be a great networking event. So people are welcome to just come to the happy hour networking event. So we're going to offer tickets for that soon. And then also the lunch is going to be focused on networking. So it's not just going to be all listening to people, but also time to connect with other filmmakers.
Okay. That's Dan Parris. He's with Continuity, which is hosting a big conference on November 2nd for people who are interested in the film industry here in St. Louis. We're also talking to aspiring filmmaker Erica Renee Walker, who's a graduate of Continuity, as well as Letisha Wexstten, who's a YouTube star who's going to be speaking at this year's conference. Dan, it's hearing about all these people that you've gotten to come to St. Louis for this. These are some fairly big names in Hollywood and people who are tied into some pretty good organizations. How did you possibly persuade them to spend a Saturday in St. Louis for this?
Well, actually, a lot of these organizations like Sundance and Tribeca, Sundance particularly, we'd had conversations about continuity. What continuity is doing is very rare across the country.
There aren't other versions of this in similar cities?
There's some, but nothing quite like what we're doing. And I think they saw how special that was. And I think most people are coming to support continuity because all the funds from the conference go back to support our 36-week training program and to help grow this organization to do more. And so I think that was an easy sell there. And, we as a team have no problem with asking for bold requests, and I think if you don't do that in this industry, you'll never get anywhere. So you gotta go for it. You gotta make those calls, make those emails.
What's the worst thing they can do? They can turn you down, right?
Exactly. You have to learn how to. Every no is just a one closer to your yes, right?
I actually have a question. How many years have you been doing this conference?
This is the first year we've done this conference.
Okay, good, because I've never heard of it before.
Yeah. See, you haven't missed anything. This is inaugural.
I'm like, I'm missing out on 10 years worth of the information. As a YouTuber in St. Louis, I always felt alone. I didn't know that there were any other filmmakers or YouTubers in my area, and unless I moved out to California, there was no way that I was gonna get into that YouTube space and make YouTube friends. Mm-hmm. But I feel as if going to this conference is gonna be a real eye-opening experience and opportunity.
Your other panelists have over 1 billion views on YouTube.
1 billion?
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, one of them, their organization has over 1 billion views on YouTube. So some folks doing a lot of cool stuff, and everybody's kind of in a different space. One person's selling products, Letisha is telling her own story, other folks are doing stuff for commercial clients, and then other folks are selling weird, goofy gadgets through the VAT19 YouTube page. They sell giant shoes and long gummy worms that are 6 feet long, and they make ridiculous YouTube videos out of them, and they go viral.
It's interesting, as Letisha referred to, people can make these YouTube videos anywhere, and so you have people kind of working in isolation, but at the same time there's this whole industry in Hollywood that is just devoted to people trying to find the next big thing and to make these connections. Is it possible to get the kind of support you need to have a successful filmmaking career in St. Louis, or is this something where people can get their start here and then they're going to have to go move to a bigger market?
I'll chime in on this. I don't know if they have opinions, but I think it's yes and no. Yes, you can do it because technology has become so inexpensive. Like, I've shot a feature documentary on a very low budget with a very small crew, and it broadcast nationally on Fuse. But then at the same time, a lot of big films aren't coming to St. Louis, like the Up in the Airs, like the Gone Girls, because we no longer have tax credits. Shows like Ozarks are not shooting here. They shoot a couple scenes in Lake of the Ozarks, and then the rest of the time they're shooting in Georgia because of tax credits. And so we're missing out on the opportunity to grow our industry. But I think people are such hustlers in St. Louis, the STL hustle, that we make it happen, however we need to.
Erica, for you,
I definitely think it's possible. It's just when you can make a movie here, definitely so, but you may have to distribute to other big cities like California, like in New York, to get it seen by a broader range of people, more people, so they can have more exposure for it. So I definitely think it's possible to make a movie here in St. Louis and then distribute and get help from other cities that are bigger than St. Louis is.
What are your goals for your filmmaking career? Would you like to be a filmmaker based in St. Louis, or are you hoping to sort of launch yourself to a different, bigger place?
I would like to be based in St. Louis, but I would have probably other homes in different states. That's still possible. I mean,
that's what Steven Spielberg does, right?
Why not? So the possibilities are endless. So,
Letisha, what about you? Do you see yourself continuing to grow your career here, or do you think at some point you'll want to head to LA to join that bigger YouTube community?
Well, funny enough, I travel a lot. So I've been to California several times, either for, we went to VidCon, we went to Vid Summit. I was filmed on Tosh.0, and I travel back and forth, but I am grounded here in St. Louis. And if there is either a production company or someone who wants to work with me, then they're gonna pack up and move to St. Louis with me.
Yeah, they're going to make that possible.
They're going to make it possible. But since starting my business, which, if I may, I started a unemployment website for people with disabilities, and it really started with my YouTube channel and how I was able to change people's perspectives. And my goal is to continue it while I'm here.
For those who are listening at home and might be interested in this website, where could they get more information?
The website is joinhireme.com, and it is a online platform for people with disabilities to connect with businesses in the area who are hiring.
That's great.
Didn't you have some success with that business? Didn't something happen?
Dan, that's a great question. Letisha, what happened with this business?
I started last year in the EQ Accelerator program at UMSL, and I won $15,000 with their business competition. And then I took some of that money and we applied for the Arch grants. And so when they announce the winners on November 1st, we'll find out if I am one of them.
That is super exciting. So there are definitely things happening in St. Louis. Dan Parris, one last question for you. What do you hope will happen next for Continuity? I know this organization is off to a great start, but you're still pretty young. Do you see it sort of continuing down this path or branching into other directions?
We would. I'll be honest. We need more private support. We're like entirely grant funded. A couple arts grant funders decide, hey, they're pivoting a different direction. I mean, this organization might not be able to stick around. And so this conference, one of the goals was we needed to raise money. And my job as executive director is to do that. And our hope is to find people who can come around us, who can help us get that private support, even build people on the team who have more experience in fundraising that can help us grow this organization, because right now we're not really in a sustainable place. We're doing some really cool stuff, but it's by very discounted and labor that, you can only do that for so long, and a lot of nonprofits struggle with that. So we are definitely in need of support in a number of different ways. So people can learn more about Continuity at continuitystl.com.
And is there also information about the conference on that same website?
Yep. We have a website for the conference, inmotionconference.com. But if you just go to Continuity's website, there's a link that'll take you directly to the conference.
Okay. Well, that's Dan Parris of Continuity. Dan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
And Erica Renee Walker, thank you for joining us today. Good luck with your filmmaking.
Thank you.
And Letisha Wexstten, thank you so much for joining us. And just to remind everybody listening, what's the name of that YouTube channel?
Tisha Unarmed.
Tisha Unarmed. Make sure you check that out. It's really amazing. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com. Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.